Cue Dave and Ryan in 3, 2, 1.
It's Dave and Ryan's movie review.
Sponsored by the Plan Z Diet.
Okay, so we promised we were going to do this.
Yes, we did.
For better or worse.
Until death do us part.
There are some movies in here that I completely forgot about.
Yeah, me too.
And so what we're going to do is we just kind of went through and I made a list of all the DC movies that were made all the way back to 1951.
And he checked it twice.
I did. And then I went back and kind of went through Rotten Tomatoes and got a Rotten Tomatoes score, a critics and an audience score, and then an IMDb score, which IMDb seems to kind of level out the playing field we've talked about in the past.
Yeah. I always, IMDb is more of a professional, where Rotten Tomatoes is more of just, it could get, very, very ugly.
Well, we talk about the fact that, if Rotten Tomatoes wants to hire us to say whatever they want us to about a movie, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I have no problems with it.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes is like the social media of movie review sites.
It's like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You can put whatever you want on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so we're going to start, of course, we're not going to go through all of them, but we will start in 1951, the first movie that DC had on their slate, when you look these up, Superman and the Mole Men.
That just sounds weird.
This starred George Reeve, the big, one, I think he was even Superman in the television show back in the day.
Probably, yeah, the big-chested guy.
Yes, yeah. Anyway,
Big
Rotten
brawny,
Tomatoes,
manly man.
right? Rotten Tomatoes audience score of 80%, an IMDb score of 5.5 out of 10.
See, I think that was kind of more of a cult classic.
And I think it still is.
Yeah.
The next movie on the list definitely is.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you're not missing out.
No, but this one is definitely a cult classic, and then it skips from 51 to 66.
I love this
with
one.
Batman, the movie
Yes.
with Adam West.
This movie was amazing. When I was a kid, it was on TV all the time. I'd always watch it. The part where he's spraying the shark repellent.
I was going to say, this is the first evidence of shark repellent, isn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
bat shark repellent.
And this came out in 66. Surprisingly, did well with the critics, an 80% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes, 60% audience score, and it scored a 6.5 out of 10.
Seems about right.
Not too bad. Then we jump forward really 12 years before we hear anything else, and that is, honestly, for me, for my money, it is the best Superman movie ever, and it's Superman, the original.
Dave was in high school when this came out.
Superman, the motion picture. I was 6.
Teen?
Just 6. All right, Christopher Reeve, by far for me, is the best Superman that's been on screen.
He played a very, very good Superman.
And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the fact that he had that element of being nerdy and clumsy, and like the way he acted in that role, it was like, this guy's not Superman.
Well, we got to remember, Christopher Reeve, he went to Juilliard.
Yes.
So he's a classically trained actor.
Yes, he was roommates with Robin Williams.
Yeah, and, you don't see a whole lot of classically trained actors nowadays. You see a lot of, method actors, which is not necessarily, classically trained. It's all about the character for them, and then other actors, they went to acting school, so they're kind of classically trained, but he was like the definition of classically trained. If you go to Juilliard for acting, I think you know what you're doing.
Probably. And they know what they're doing because you can't just walk in off the street.
No.
So
you have to audition. This is like, if you think it's hard auditioning for like a high school play or something like this is like 100 times more.
And so that movie did well with critics, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 86% audience scored a 7.4 on IMDb. So that is not a bad movie. Then, of course, we'll jump forward. We talked about Superman 2 before. Swamp Thing, 1982.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and when I saw it on the list, I was like, yeah, it is a DC. If you've seen this movie, you know how weird it is.
Yes. They got Adrienne Barbeau to be in this movie, who was, I believe, if I remember right, she was like almost a scream queen.
Oh, almost. Yeah,
She was
in a few screamers. A few screamers.
She was a scream queen. But anyway, 50% critic score. Actually, on IMDb, it did rather well, 5.3. Not too bad. Superman 3, horrible movie.
Oh my God.
Gene Hackman didn't even want to show up for that one. That one did not rate well, as you could guess. Supergirl, horrible movie as well.
Yeah, back to back years. Superman 3. Was horrible with the whole sun power guy.
No, that was 4.
Was that 4?
3 was when Richard
Was it
Pryor
when
was
he-
rounding up and took all the money from the company, and then at the end it had Robert Vaughn was in it.
Was
and
that the
then-
one that he went? We flew backward to turn back time.
No, that was the first one.
Okay.
We'll talk about the
I
4.
don't know. They're all getting mixed up to me.
Yeah, 4 was, we talked about that in the review.
Okay.
And there's a scene in there, and it just drives me nuts because 4 is the sun-powered guy, Nuclear Man,
Yeah.
which doesn't work well because they created that character just for that movie. But how does he kill Nuclear Man at the end? Well, he just moves the moon in front of the sun. Forget about what it's doing to the ocean tides and stuff, apparently.
We don't need the moon for anything.
No. And then we jump forward to kind of maybe a renaissance, I guess, and we're going to jump forward all the way to 1989. That's Tim Burton's Batman. Fantastic film. I love this one.
There is 2 other movies that we skipped over.
Oh, what do you got?
Well, the Superman 4 and the Swamp Thing
The
returns.
Return of the Swamp Thing.
But those we won't talk about those.
We don't want to talk about
No,
them.
we're going Batman.
Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton as Batman.
This was growing up. This was my Batman.
Yes, and I'd still say probably one of the better ones. I put him and Bale probably 1, 2.
Yeah. When someone says the Batmobile, I think the long stretched car.
Yes.
That was the Batmobile, and then the black with the yellow, with the bat symbol, the utility belt.
Yeah. It would be many, many years before it would get much grittier.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batman, Michael Keaton. This had Kim Basinger in it. Jack Nicholson, and I think Jack Nicholson was one of the big draws. A lot of people looked at
I thought
Michael
he played
Keaton
a
as
great
Batman.
Joker.
He did, but a lot of people looked at Michael Keaton as Batman and like, are you kidding me with this?
Yeah.
But I think
He wasn't
pulled it
really.
off. He was a comedic actor.
He's not an action star.
No, he was comedy.
Yeah, but he did great
He did. Then they came out with Batman Returns in '92.
with Danny DeVito.
Yes, and then things start to go really south for The Dark Knight in '97 with Batman and Robin.
Yeah, well,
Joel Schumacher.
yeah, I know there was something between because Tim Burton did the
First two.
The first 2, but something happened and there was a conflict of interest or artistic differences or whatever. So that's why Burton left, and it went more
Campy. It went back.
Basically, they were trying to sell toys,
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
and then that's how you get bat nipples.
But that wasn't even in that movie.
No, that was the next
That would
one.
be Batman and Robin in 1997.
Although I do think Val Kilmer played a good Bruce Wayne.
Well, we've talked about that. There are certain actors in that role that, okay, so I think really if you want to talk about it, it's a toss-up between, because here's the thing, you got to throw Bale out of the equation.
Well, I think Bale did an okay Batman, but I don't think he did a good
I
Bruce
think
Wayne.
I think he was marginally good at both. Does that make sense? He
But he was better
he
as
was the
Batman.
hybrid of both. Okay,
Eh.
George Clooney for me was probably the best Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
because he is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And then as far as Batman goes, it's hard to say which actor is the best Batman.
I like Adam West's Batman because that's what I grew up with. I love Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah,
Even though, with him, unlike Adam West and all the ones that came after him, his suit was a solid piece. He could not turn his head. So all the action stunts and things he does, he has to turn his entire top of his body. So
his whole shoulders and everything.
And then when we got him again in the Flash movie, was it the Flash movie?
Yep.
Yeah. He actually had a decent suit.
Yeah.
But honestly, they should probably do the Batman Beyond where he's. old
I think
Bruce.
it'd be fantastic if they did it. But you know
Well,
what movie?
let's
you know what
continue.
movie killed that?
The Flash.
Your favorite, yeah.
Such a horrible movie.
Then we get to 1997 with Steel. which honestly, if you look on IMDb, Steel is the lowest rated DC movie of all time.
And if you haven't heard of it, that was the one with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes. Yeah.
It was so bad.
Not good. Then there was the horrible Catwoman movie that people had a hard time with.
Cool outfit.
Cool outfit.
Horrible.
But I think it was a cool outfit because it was Halle Berry, let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Then kind of a dark horse, Constantine.
Yeah. That was mine just went blank.
Keanu
Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. We've been hearing the last couple of months about a sequel. But
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. If you've never seen it, go out and find that one and watch it. All right, before we go in from 2005 forward, we're going to have to take a break really quick, and then we'll be back on Dave and Ryan's movie review, brought to you by the Plan Z Diet. Psych, we're just kidding. All right, so we're going forward with our list here of DC movies. And we left off with Constantine, but another movie came out in 2005, just a little one. Maybe you've heard of it. Batman Begins.
It was okay.
This starts what I believe is probably one of the best trilogies of all time.
I would say it was a very good movie. Mm-hmm. But it's another origin.
It is.
It basically started off the whole origin story movement.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I like about what James Gunn has said about The Dark Knight and Batman in the new DC universe. You're not going to get that. We know that story.
I'm sick and tired of reboots and the brand
retellings.
new origin story.
Yeah.
Brand new origin story. We don't need we already know who he is. Let's let him kick some butt.
That's right. And then pigeoned in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight in 2008, we had 2006's Superman Returns, which was not a bad movie.
Yeah,
Gave us a really good Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I think he was probably one of the best Lex Luthors we've ever had.
That whole movie looked like everybody just phoned it in.
Could have. Then The Dark Knight came out in 2008. And
so was that the first time? Who played Superman in that?
Brendan Routh.
Okay, I was thinking wait, that wasn't the Cavill.
No. The Cavalrine.
Yeah,
No.
the Calvarine.
No, that was not him. We'll get there. 2008, The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger.
Very good Joker.
Unbelievable Joker. Won an Academy Award for that movie. And it gave us kind of a... Now it kind of set it on track as whereas, okay, this is the Batman that I remember from the comics. Batman was always hunted by the police. The police didn't like him. They didn't want anything to do with him, and this is the Batman that I remember from the comics. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They got you down that path.
A little more grittier, but
A little
yes.
more. Yep. Then 2009's Watchmen, I did not think was a bad film. There's a lot going on in it.
I never really got into the Watchmen comics, so as someone who just jumped in feet first, I kind of drowned in the deep end. I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
There's a
Who
lot
are
going
these
on.
people?
There's a lot going on in that.
I was like, that's like the wannabe Batman. That's the wannabe Martian Man or Superman or whatever.
If you've never watched it, the series on Max is really good.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, and it's really good. Jonah Hex was a throwaway. That was a horrible movie with Josh Brolin.
So bad. And
I'm waiting.
no, I said you're the one. And who?
No, I just remember Josh Brolin in that movie. That's
What?
how bad that movie was.
It was Megan Fox was in it.
Oh, was she in that?
Yeah.
Flavor of the month. Then 2011 came the movie that everybody thought ruined and ended Ryan Reynolds' career.
I didn't think it ended it, but I think it was definitely such a horrible movie that he would probably think twice before taking another crappy movie. And then he made NYPD.
Yeah.
R.I.P.D.
But I got to work with Jeff Bridges.
Which, yeah,
maybe
but still,
evened it out.
Still.
But the thing about Green Lantern, I didn't hate the movie. The villain was terrible.
Oh, it was so bad.
I hated him at the end. Then 2012 brought the end to Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight series with The Dark Knight Rises. This one got a little bit grittier. This one introduced Bane, and everybody remembers Bane from the comics is the man that broke the bat, and that's what he does, and he has to fight back and come back in that one. Great movie, and I think it was a great end to that trilogy.
I liked the ending. I liked the part with Bane. I just think it could have been better.
Yeah?
with the whole
Only
what's her name?
The only thing that I hated about it was the way they left it hanging with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
A Robin series would have been cool too.
Yeah, absolutely it would have been. Or even like a Batman Beyond series with him taking over. Anyway, then 2013, then we get Cavill with Man of Steel.
Okay.
Met to pretty good, a 75% audience rating, IMDb 7.1% out of 10. That's not bad.
If I remember, this is the one where, not Harrison Ford.
Kevin Costner.
Is
Jonathan Kent.
Who he's like, no, let me die.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and you know what, though?
It's like, he can move super fast. No one would have seen him.
Well, it is what it is, though. Because that's the way it was in the Superman movie. I mean, it wasn't because of a tornado. His dad just had a heart attack and died right there on the spot. Then that started us down that road. Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. Not a
horrible
great movie.
movie.
Not a great movie.
Martha.
Well, funny thing was,
should have just said Rosebud.
Funny thing was, nobody really connected it before they did in that movie. That their mothers had the same name. Yeah. Nobody connected that. 2000
even during the movie, people were like, "Who the? Who's Martha?
Who's Martha?" 2016 Suicide Squad. Terrible movie. Horrible.
I didn't hate it.
The second one was better.
Yes, but the first one was okay. I liked Jared Leto's Batman Joker. He was more of like the gangster Joker, and that's what that movie was. It was not necessarily true to the comics. It was more of kind of a modern day version of it. You know, there's no over the top silliness.
Yeah.
It was more, he came from basically this Joker came from the streets. And that's kind of how it played.
I would agree with that. I'll agree with that. Then the movie that really surprised a lot of people, me included, 2017's Wonder Woman.
Yes.
This was a great movie. I loved this movie.
It's probably one of my favorite DC films, and I'm not a big DC fan.
Jordan and I talked about the fact when I told him that Steel was the lowest rated movie. He goes, you cannot tell me that Steel was worse than Wonder Woman 1984. And we'll talk about that one coming up in just a bit. Then you've got Wonder Woman. Now you've got Justice League. Comes out in 2017.
That was so bad.
Not good. It was just thrown together. Then 2000
should have been just called, Batman tries to save everyone.
Tries again. That's right. And then 2018, you get Aquaman after he's been introduced in 2017's The Justice League.
I thought Momoa did a good job.
I loved Momoa in the role.
I didn't like the story though.
No, I loved him in the role. I didn't hate that movie. The second one wasn't great, but the first one was really good. Then 2019, and I really liked this one, Shazam.
I didn't care much for it.
I remember watching Shazam, or back in the day as they called him, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
On Saturday mornings. It was like the highlight of my Saturday morning when he was on the Justice League cartoon, So then you had that. Then you had the Joaquin Phoenix Joker come out in 2019.
That was a good one.
Which was a good one.
It wasn't necessarily a comic book movie.
No.
It was more of a psychological thriller.
It was like a Falling Down.
Yeah.
If you remember that movie with Michael Douglas.
Yep.
Then 2020, Birds of Prey. I couldn't do it. I could not sit through this one.
It had potential, but
it did because
the whole starfish.
No, that was
the first one.
That was the second.
This was the one.
This one was the one that was.
They start on the beach. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And everyone dies.
But no, that's Suicide Squad still. Birds of Prey was just the female cast, and Ewan McGregor played Black Mask.
Hold on.
This one came out 5 years ago.
2.
Suicide Squad 2 was the one where everybody died.
Okay, I think I'm getting Suicide Squad 2 and Birds of Prey mixed up. Birds of Prey was the one where her and it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor, and they fight at like this weird playhouse.
Yeah, and he played Black Mask.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie.
I got everything straightened out now.
I could not do that. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, it had. If I remember correctly, it was she had just broken up with the Joker, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, it had some potential, but they went way off track because I think they were trying to make Margot Robbie more of a star than the actual character, and people love Harley Quinn.
They do.
Like it's like really kind of sickening how much people love Harley Quinn, and I know there's a series on Max, a cartoon one.
Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Which is very, very popular. And the voice actor, she was on The Big Bang Theory.
Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah.
Yep. And then comes the horrible movie Wonder Woman 1984. Didn't like it. Pedro Pascal's character in this movie
Cheetah
was
so
terrible.
bad.
Cheetah was terrible. This just is not a good movie at all.
And it left like a big giant cliffhanger.
It did. And you'll never see it.
And I don't think anyone cares.
No. And then 2021, then the Suicide Squad,
Okay.
where everybody dies on the beach, and you got the big starfish, and Sylvester Stallone is the shark.
Yeah, and then
King Shark.
Yeah, we also get John Cena's spinoff. His
yes, the Peacemaker, which I still to this day will argue that it has the greatest opening title sequence of all time.
Yeah,
That song is fantastic.
I'll have to check it out.
Number 2022, Robert Pattinson's The Batman. I liked the movie. I think I've told you there were so many times when they could have ended this movie. Not really. I mean, he's already Batman. You don't have to get into what happened, but he finds out about his family.
Isn't the Batman kind of an off version of the TV series Gotham? No, because, well, it depends on how you look at it. Like I said, he learns more about his mom and his dad. Because in Gotham, it's more focused around how the villains became the villains
and him growing up.
Yeah,
and then you don't see in Gotham. You never see him as Batman until the very final episode.
Yeah,
and then this one, the Riddler, who was fantastic. Paul Dano was fantastic in this movie. He played the Riddler, and he had information about his mom and his dad. It comes out that his mom was actually in Arkham. That was her family name. And his dad, and they did all kinds of crooked stuff. And so, yeah, but they missed so many opportunities to where they could have ended this movie and not had it be 3 hours long. That's my only complaint about that movie. 2022, a movie so bad it never got released, Batgirl.
Well, the TV series had so many problems.
Mm-hmm.
It started off with Ruby Rose was the original Batgirl, and she played, I believe it was only one season, and she is a horrible actress.
Yes.
I will tell you straight up, worst actress ever. If you've seen, well, she was okay in Orange is the New Black because she didn't have a whole lot of lines.
Yeah.
And in John Wick 2, I believe.
I can't remember which one.
She was so bad, they took all of her lines away and made her mute. That's how bad she is.
That should tell you what you need to know.
And then they cast her as Batgirl, and then, she walked away, and they replaced her. But then it's just, after, you can't revive a dead horse.
No, but like we were talking the other day, I can't believe that they haven't released this movie on Max.
Yeah.
It's done. It's sitting on a shelf somewhere. What's it going to hurt?
It's got to be so bad.
Put it out
because
there.
Because it had some big names in there.
It did. Keaton was in it as Batman.
Yep.
Brendan Fraser was in it right after he won the Oscar for The Whale as Firefly. Yep. I mean, J.K. Simmons was back as Gordon. What more do you need, really? I don't know. Then another movie that did not score very well, Black Adam.
This was just bad storytelling.
Here's why Black Adam was a bad movie. It was not. I think they got the right guy. I think the script was not good.
No, the script was horrible.
But the reason that so many people were upset is at the end of the movie, your mid-credits scene is Henry Cavill making his return as Superman, and then like 3 months later, they say, no, he's not coming back. That was the stupidest thing ever.
It's like they teased you, and then they just said, oh, nope.
Yep. And then 2023, sadly, Shazam! Fury of the Gods was not a good film either.
I've only seen...
The Skittles part was probably the best part of the whole movie.
I've only seen one scene, and this was the one with the Skittles and the unicorns.
Yes, that was probably...
Taste the rainbow, beep!
That's probably the best movie. The best part of the whole movie. Then your favorite, The Flash.
I did not like this movie.
I didn't like it because I told you why. It had nothing to do with him running backward to go forward.
I liked Keaton as Batman.
Yes.
I liked the girl who played Superman's cousin. Yeah,
Kara.
Supergirl. But everything else was just kind of weird. I like the whole how at the very end, I guess he ended up in a different timeline where instead of Affleck, it was Clooney.
Yeah,
But
that was kind of clever.
yeah,
But like I said, the reason this movie upset me so much is you touted all of this time that you were going to make a Flashpoint Paradox, and you had the opportunity because you had, a Bruce Wayne in your universe. You had a Martha Wayne in your universe, and you chose not to make that movie. And that is what upset me the most about it. And then, of course, Ezra Miller going off the deep end.
yeah.
2023.
And going forward to go backwards.
Can't forget that. And then The Blue Beetle. I didn't hate it.
It was kind of DC's attempt to be more funny.
It was.
Be more of, I know they made Suicide
not
Squad.
put such a dark movie out.
Yeah, but Suicide Squad, it was funnier, but it was still really dark, where this one was more trying to be Marvel funny.
Yes. And then also in 2023, you had 4 DC movies coming out in 2023. The last one that came out was Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. We already talked about that. I didn't like this one at all. It did not work for me.
I didn't like it. It was no.
Yeah,
it was a no for me.
It didn't work for me. And then last year, Joker Folie Deux came out, and we all know how that one ended out.
Hated it.
It
was
and we
so
weren't
bad.
the only ones. We were not the only ones.
Yeah. The whole twist with Lady Gaga was, I don't know if they're planning on making another one, but it's got, if they do, it's got to be better than this one.
Yeah, well, and not the only thing.
And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, apparently Joaquin Phoenix wasn't the actual Joker.
Yeah, that was made very clear at the end.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I think
I haven't seen it, but I know that, and I know other people who haven't seen it might not know that.
Yes, but also Joaquin Phoenix, if he was the Joker, would have made the perfect Joker in Robert Pattinson's universe. He would have been great, but they've already got Barry Keoghan in that. So, all right, that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
Busy show of DC.
Busy as a bee.
All right, so until next time, America, go see a movie.